What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Tyrone Bowman Live. Now, we're going to have a pretty good program on this evening. I'll be covering a lot of major news headlines and stories, not just politics, okay? So let's get started on tonight. James Earl Jones, the distinguished actor and voice of Darth Vader, has sadly passed away at the age of 93. So let's take a look at James Earl Jones in a later photo here. The late James Earl Jones. According to Variety, James Earl Jones, the prolific film, TV, and theater actor whose reasonable, unmistakable baritone was most widely known as the voice of Star Wars villain Darth Vader, died Monday morning at his home in Dutchess County, New York. His representative confirmed to Variety he was 93 years old. After overcoming a profound stutter as a child, Jones established himself as one of the pioneering black actors of his generation, amassing a bountiful and versatile career spanning over 60 years from his debut on Broadway in 1958 at the Court Theater, renamed the James Earl Jones Theater, in 2022, to his most recent performance in 2021's Coming to America. For that film, that was the sequel, Coming to America. For that film, Jones reprised his role as King Jaffe Joffer from the 1988 Eddie Murphy comedy Coming to America, one of several roles along with Darth Vader that Jones revisited, including the voice of King Mufasa in Disney's animated feature The Lion King in 1994, the 1988 direct-to-video sequel, and the 2019 remake, and CIA Deputy Director Vice Admiral James Greer in 3 Jack Ryan movies in 1990s, The Hunt for Red October, 1992's Patriot Games, and 1994's Clear and Present Danger. I'll tell you about another well-known fact about the late James Earl Jones. He was also a biblical narrator. As a matter of fact, he recorded the entire Bible for digital purposes, the Old Testament and the New Testament in its entirety. Jones was nominated for 4 Tony Awards and won 2. In 1969 for playing boxer Jack Johnson in The Great White Hope, which he reprised on film in 1970, reviving his only Oscar nomination, or receiving rather his only Oscar nomination. Of course, he did not win. And in 1978 for originating the role of Troy Maxson in August Wilson's Pulitzer Prize-winning drama Fences. He was nominated for 8 Primetime Emmy Awards, winning twice in 1991 for supporting actor in the miniseries Heat Wave, about the 1965 Wyatt's Riots, and for lead actor in the drama series Gabriel's Fire, about a wrongfully imprisoned ex-cop who becomes a private detective. It was the first time an actor won 2 Emmys in the same year. Jones earned a Kennedy Center honor in 2002, the Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award in 2009, an honorary Oscar in 2011, and a Lifetime Achievement Tony Award in 2019. His Grammy Award in 1977 for a spoken word album makes Jones only a handful of actors to receive an EGOT. Jones's longtime yet ultimately affable presence and risk-speaking voice made him a natural for Shakespeare, and he played some of the greatest roles such as Macbeth and Othello. For Joseph Papp's American Shakespeare Festival, Jones narrated several documentaries from 1972's Malcolm X to the 2007 Disney nature documentary, Earth, and famously, he intoned the tagline, "This is CNN," for the cable news network. His television credits, which number over 70, including many movies and miniseries such as Roots and The Atlanta Child Murders, recurring roles on LA Law, Homicide, Life on the Street in Everwood and guest roles on shows like The Simpsons, Picket Fences, Law and Order, Frasier, and House. As for his most famous role, Jones was paid $7,000 to lend his voice to Darth Vader in the 1977 Star Wars A New Hope, but he declined screen credit for that film and its sequel, 1980's The Empire Strikes Back. Out of deference to the actor who played the role on screen, David Prowse, by 1993's Return of the Jedi, however, Jones had become fully synonymous with one of the most memorable and terrifying villains in cinema history and received credit for his work. He returned to Vader's voice again for 2005's Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and 2016's Rogue One, a Star Wars story, but for the 2022 Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi, Jones instead authorized Lucasfilm to use archive recordings and AI technology to recreate Vader's voice. The man was tired. You can't work somebody forever. When asked in 2014 by the New York Times about how he kept his career alive for so long, Jones's response evoked the kind of plain-spoken humility that he had so often brought to his performances as well. The secret is never forgetting that you're a journeyman actor, and that nothing is your final thing, nothing is your greatest thing, nothing is your worst thing, Jones said. I still consider myself a novice. James Earl Jones was born in 1931 on a farm in Arcabutla, Mississippi. His father, Robert Earl Jones, left home soon after to pursue his own acting career. The two more or less reconciled when the younger Jones was in his 20s, and they even performed together. When Jones was 5, he moved with his maternal grandparents to Michigan. The shock of the relocation included a stammer so severe that he often could communicate only in writing. It wasn't until high school where he started to overcome his stutter when his English teacher, upon learning that Jones composed poetry, encouraged him to read his writing aloud in class. As an undergraduate student at the University of Michigan, Jones initially set out to study medicine, but wound up more interested in drama. His first stage role was a small part in the 1957 off-Broadway production, Wedding in Japan. He took side jobs to supplement occasional theater work in Broadway's Sunrise at Campobello, The Cool World, and The Pretender. He also appeared in Summerstock. In 1960, Jones joined Pap's New York Shakespeare Festival. The following year, he made his first serious impact in a landmark off-Broadway production of Jean Genet's The Blacks as the protagonist de Dantes. Afterwards, for Pap, he played Oberon in A Midsummer Night's Dream, the first of many herald Shakespearean turns. His masterful 1964 performance as Othello for Pap was moved off-Broadway, where the production ran for almost a year. Jones's first big break into cinema came by way of Pap's production of The Merchant of Venice, in which Jones played the Prince of Morocco to George C. Scott's Shylock. When Stanley Kubrick came to see Scott, whom he was considering for one of the leads in Dr. Strangelove, the film director was so impressed that he cast Jones in the film too. In 1966, Jones had the title role in Macbeth at the New York Shakespeare Festival, again to great acclaim. He also booked a recurring role on As the World Turns in 1966, marking the first time a black actor had a continuing role on a daytime soap opera. Still, he was almost one of Broadway's best-kept secrets until 1968 with his performance in Howard Suckler's The Great White Hope as Jack Johnson, the first black man to win the World Heavyweight Boxing Championship, the Tony. The acclaim and its timing in the late 1960s propelled Jones into the spotlight at a time when it was difficult for black actors to secure quality roles. The actor, however, has said that the accolades he received for both the play and its film adaptation did not do that much for his career. It wasn't until 1977 when Jones's voice terrified audiences for the first time as Darth Vader. That things truly began to shift for him. That same year, Jones also appeared in ABC's Roots playing the author Alex Haley, whose genealogical novel of the same title inspired the groundbreaking miniseries. He never quite became an outright star in the classic sense of the word, but the back-to-back successes that year did ultimately make Jones a household name whose presence connoted a stature and gravitas to projects that might otherwise be lacking. Theaters where Jones most frequently was a box office draw in his own right, and well into his 80s. He returned to Broadway in 2005 for a production of On Golden Pond. Opposite Leslie Uggams, drawing another Tony nomination in 2008, he played Big Daddy in a production of Tennessee Williams' Cat on a Hot Tin Roof that featured an all-black cast, including Terrence Howard, Anika Noni Rose, and Phyllis Rashad. Let me just say this, because I'm reading a lot of stuff here. Why did it take so damn long to acknowledge Jones? Because if he had been a white actor doing all the things that James Earl Jones did, he would have received multiple Oscars during his prime. This is what disgusts me about Hollywood. I could never be an actor. I could never work in Hollywood. I could never accept the fact that it's inherently racist still to this day. Metro, Goldwyn, and Meyer. They were three racists and they were three bigots. Yes, I said it. It makes no sense that a man of his stature, given the talents and the abilities that he had to work so long and so hard during his lifetime just to be recognized. Being nominated means nothing if you don't win. So I'm the type of person, if I'm an actor, you nominate me, and if I'm not winning, I'm not coming to the program, period, point blank. Now back to the story. 2 years later, he returned to Broadway in a revival of Driving Miss Daisy opposite Vanessa Redgrove. The productions moved to London in 2011. Many had to miss the honorary Oscar ceremony in Los Angeles. Instead, Sir Ben Kingsley surprised Jones with this statuette in person after he concluded a matinee performance of the show. Jones was first married to actress-singer Julianne Marie. His second wife of 34 years, actress Celia Hart, died in 2016. He is survived by his son, Flynn Earl Jones. James Earl Jones. Rest in peace.